thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about the business leaders of the future, the millennials. So with that being said, we need to provide the right kind of leadership training for the millennials so that we can empower them to take ownership in our organizations in the near future. Because you have to remember, by the year 2020, over half of the work population, that's 50%, are going to be the millennials. And in case you didn't know, the millennials are individuals born between the mid-'80s and the early 2000s. So it's imperative that we get them groomed and trained for leadership and success. Look, even though they share our own universal desires, like the desire to be happy, the desire to feel empowered, or the desire to be engaged at work, they also challenge the traditional management as well. For instance, they want flexibility, and lots of it. They learn and process information differently than the Gen Xers and the baby boomers. And then another thing is their source of motivation may be different. So again, how do we prepare them for leadership in our organization in years to come? The first thing we have to learn and understand is we have to create training programs that cater to particular needs and skill sets that they can bring into our organization. So here's some things that I want to mention to you that will help you start thinking about millennials that may be in your organization, that may want to start moving up in the leadership roles, or maybe you see one that may be a good candidate for a leadership position. These are some things that we might want to look at. The first thing, or understand rather, the first thing is that millennials approach business leadership differently. Now you have to understand that millennials are the first generation to live in a world surrounded by computers and technology. So they're constantly bombarded by information, and tons of it, on a daily basis. Look, baby boomers and Gen Xers, we're used to learning by extended periods of study, right? Well, the millennials, they learn and gather information in microbursts. That's the difference. And then also, to attribute to that, mobile devices allow for immediate access to unlimited information. So with this in mind, millennials excel in discrete projects where they can get them done very quickly. However, long-term projects kind of push them out of their comfort zone. So in knowing this, millennials need to be trained in two things: patience and persistence, in order to succeed at the next level. Because we all know as leaderships, there are some times where projects may take longer than expected, and also to form partnerships with other third-party companies or vendors or clients. Those relationships may take time. And so these are some of the things that if the millennial doesn't have under their belt, that we need to coach and groom them to understand the importance of patience and persistence. Another thing we want to look at is bridging the millennial gap between information and communication. Millennials are very skilled at accessing information. However, they're less accustomed to sharing and disseminating that information on a professional level or in a professional setting. So in order to become effective leaders, they need to be trained in critical communication skill sets. More importantly, how to clearly define and communicate company goals. In addition to that, they also need to learn how to filter useful information from irrelevant distractions. So that's something else we need to look at with the millennials. And then one other thing is foster valuable social skills through leadership training. Look, because millennials have learned to do practically everything via computer or technology, they tend to be isolationists, meaning they're more comfortable sitting at their desk sending an email or an instant message as opposed to getting up and conversing with someone and getting information that way. So when they get to the point where they want to move into positions of leadership or supervisory roles or things of that nature, they will definitely need training in interpersonal communication. They need to understand the importance of teamwork, collaboration, face-to-face communication with clients and customers, body language, things of that nature. We need to be able to help them foster these skills by assigning group projects and maybe doing some role-playing exercises. These things will help encourage proper business etiquette, which is what they will need if they don't have it. Some may be more advanced than others, but if not, these are the things that we need to look at as far as the millennials and kind of coach them and groom them and get them up to speed with these things so that they will be ready and able to take on the leadership positions in our organizations and lead our organizations into a bigger and brighter future. All right? that's the information I have for you today. I hope this is very informative to you. I'm pretty sure you may have some millennials in your workplace. You may have a few that may be looking at moving up in these leadership roles, or maybe you see somebody that may be kind of ready. So these are things we want to look out for and start to bring them in and kind of coach them on, so that they will be prepared and ready to take on, when the time comes, their leadership position. All right. Thanks again, guys, for watching the video. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch these videos. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the videos, share them. If you're watching this, I'm willing to bet someone in your circle, in your sphere of influence, may need this information as well. All right. Thanks again. I appreciate your time. And remember, great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?